I don't know if I'm live, but I think I am. So just checking my settings out, making sure that everything's working. I'm actually going to take out my iPad to see what this looks like, because one can never be sure with technology, especially the issues that I've been having with technology lately. So I don't know if anybody's tuning in early, but if you are, I'd love to hear from you. Just drop me a comment so I can see if the comments are popping up too. Because last time the comments were not popping up. So I'm just going to try to make sure it's as smooth sailing as possible today. And hopefully the internet gods will cooperate. I see one like, I see one heart. That's awesome. It looks like it might be working. Hooray! I'm so excited to be here today, and I'm also very excited that I get to share my studio with you, which you've only ever seen in a background. But I did, what I did was, instead of taking the camera, which is my phone, I pre-recorded a video tour, but I'll talk you through it because I didn't do any talking when I was recording it. Hello, Annette from the Netherlands. Hello, Margaret. Hello, Randy. Thank you for coming. I am still trying to see if I can see what you can see. And of course, if you hear any noises in the background, I apologize. We just recently remodeled our house. That is why I have this beautiful studio now. But we still have little itty bitty bits of work that's still continuing. So you might hear some hammering, you might hear some screwdrivers in the background. But hopefully we'll be able to ignore those and it won't be too loud and too disruptive. Hi, Carolyn from the UK. Hello, Diane. Thank you for being here. Let's see if I can get my iPad to work so I can just check. Hello from Finland, Mia. Hello, Faye from London. I just love seeing all these names popping up from all over the world. It's so fun. It's, I keep thinking of all these countries that I've been to. Hello from France, Sandrine. I miss Paris so much, especially the freshly baked baguettes. And I really, really loved the London Eye. I know I sound like a very touristy, very cliched tourist when I say those things, but those are my memories from when we used to travel before we had a kid, and it was just so fun. Hello, Jim from Napa, California. You're in my backyard. Hello, Turid from Oslo, Norway. Hello, Alison from Scotland. Hello from New Hampshire. Sandy's here. Thank you all so much for being here, taking the time today. Haley from Sussex, England. Hello, Haley. What's the weather like where you guys are? It's really warm here for some reason. Hi, Yvonne. Nice to see you. It was so unseasonably warm. I shouldn't say unseasonably. It's the end of May. It should be warm, but we're not used to it being this warm. It's not summer yet. So, hi from Tennessee, Connie. I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt today. By the way, I painted this. It's alcohol ink painting. Last time some people were asking when I did my Jelly Telly interview if the scarf I was wearing was a gel plate print. It was actually a blouse, and it wasn't a gel plate print. It was an alcohol ink painting that I had doodled on. I had done some mandalas and then gotten it printed. But this one is an alcohol ink painting. I can stand up and show you, actually. This is what it looks like. One of my paintings. It's nice to be able to wear my art because I make so many paintings. What do you do with them? I don't have any. You'll see in the studio tour, there's no space to display stuff. I'm getting a lot of different kinds of weather reports. My goodness, look at the variety. We have 96 degrees. Rainy and gray here, but they say summer comes tomorrow. In the Netherlands, it's a very cold time of the year, a lot of rain. I was in the Netherlands, in Amsterdam actually, in end of April one year, and it was beautiful, but we just stayed for 7 days. Tucson, Arizona is 90 at 11:55. Oh my goodness, Angela, take care, stay inside. Arizona gets very hot. Netherlands, it's wet and cold here. Thank you, Yvonne. The first date hasn't rained in the UK for ages. Diane, my heart goes out to you. I do not like rain at all. I like it from inside. I don't like that I'm not able to go do any outdoor activities. Hi, Henriette. Hi from the Netherlands. Nice for you. Nice of you to be here. And we have 4 more minutes. It's 11:56. So the plan today is we're going to do a little studio tour. It's not a little studio tour. It's actually about 16 minutes long. But I figured I'd just, open drawers and show you what my drawers look like, because it looks very neat on the outside. But what do the drawers look like? That's where the real story lies. So I'll share all of that. And I will also then, we'll do a live demo where I'll be using my 8x10 gel plate, and we'll make some cards. 8 degrees and damp. Oh my goodness, Northeast England. How do you guys survive? Beautiful shirt. Thank you, Turid. I love UK rains. Asmita, you're probably outnumbered by the people who don't like rain. Again, this is just me. It's my dislike of rain. I used to love rain in summers, the summer monsoon when I was growing up in India. But over here, it rains when it's cold, so it's not fun. Warm but dry here. Strange for Florida. We need rain. We need rain here in California, too. Hi, Kate. Hello, Asmita. Oh, you're in Washington, D.C. Or D.C., I should say. Hello from Ontario, Canada. Hi, Bev. Hi, Sandrine. Blue sky. We have blue skies here with nary a cloud. Quite sunny. And I actually wanted to ask, I don't know if I can do a poll when I'm doing a screen through Ecamm, but I just wanted to ask you guys if when we do these lives, do you prefer to watch different techniques in one live, or do you like it focused on one particular technique? Like today I'm focusing on the gel plate, the 8x10 size, and the Deli Paper, and we're using acrylic paints. So we're going to just take prints on Deli Paper, nothing else. So just curious if you think that's a good approach in terms of utilizing the 1 hour we have together, or do you like seeing different things? You might see some prints, maybe use one stencil and then use different media with the same stencil. So use maybe distressings, then maybe acrylics, then maybe watercolor, things like that. I'm just curious. So if you just want to chime in and let me know what you think, I'd appreciate that. Straight from the horse's mouth. Hello from South Africa, Shannon. I loved Johannesburg and Cape Town when we were in South Africa many moons ago. We had gone on a safari after, but it was so beautiful there. What a lovely country. Beautiful part of the world. Diane says focus. Oh, there's another person from South Africa, Karine. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Hello. Kate says I quite like seeing different techniques. And somebody said focus earlier. I need ideas for my studio. Hope to borrow some. Yes, Yvonne, I was actually going to talk more about it and share the supply list as well. Redding, California. Hi, Leona. You're very close by. Hello from Calgary, Rohita. 54 degrees there today. Aw, Adrian, thank you so much. I love whatever you're willing to share with us. I'm happy to share. Jim says multiple. Noelle, hello from France. Okay, it's 11:59. I will start exactly at noon because we do have a lot of stuff to cover, especially with the studio tour eating into the live demo time. I like the idea of using the same technique on different media, Angela says. Hello, is it Celia? I hope I'm pronouncing it right. And I'm very particular about the way my name is pronounced. It's Mansi. A lot of people say Mansi. It's Mansi. So I get very conscious when I'm reading out names because I don't want to butcher your name. So my apologies if I do. If you just want to type in the phonetic spelling, I would be grateful. I don't want to butcher names. Hello from Peru, Edu. Hello. We went to Machu Picchu. That's my only experience of Peru. We did the 5-day hike there, which was so fun. Nice to focus on one technique, says Diane. Hello from Vista, California, just down the road from Tracy. Hello, Ruth. I still have to meet Tracy. It's one of my life goals to meet her, hopefully very soon. Hello, Kitty from Finland. Okay, it's noon and we're going to start. So as I promised, I was on Jelly Telly last week and I had internet issues. They broke the wire outside. We have workers here. And it wasn't their fault. It was an accident, but I was not able to give you a studio tour. So I figured I'd record what this looks like and walk you through it and talk you through it so you can see it. And if you want a list of supplies of, where the containers are from, where the stands are from, where the boxes are from, where the stackable things are from, on which I keep my gel plate, what I'll do is if you go to monsymakes.com and sign up for my newsletter, what I'll do is I'll send you in the newsletter a quick link of every single thing that I have in terms of organization in this studio. So if you want to go ahead and purchase things, most of them are from Amazon. I haven't had, or IKEA, I haven't had the chance to go to a local craft store and really buy like unique stuff. So it's all mass produced, easily available, and not very expensive. So I will share that, but you will have to go to monsymakes.com and sign up for the newsletter in order to get the supply list. But without further ado, let's start with the studio tour. And thank you again for being here. This is very exciting for me because I haven't shared my studio yet with anyone outside of my husband and my daughter. So you are going to be the first ones to actually get a tour. And I love how my space is so organized now. It helps me do more art every day, and be able to share a lot of content with everyone. So I'm going to start with the studio tour, and then we'll do the live demo. So let me see if I can change the source of my screen so you can actually see where I'm sitting, and I will walk you through this. So this is my end of this room. This room used to be, it's downstairs. It used to be my daughter's bedroom, and we had a bedroom built for her upstairs. So I got this room, except I have to share with her, and it's, you know, she's on the other side. She's on my left-hand side. Peggy's saying, is it me or is Monsi frozen? I hope I'm not frozen because I'm just about to start the tour. So if everybody else can see me, just let me know, because I'm about to start this and I would hate for this to be frozen. Okay, so here we go. This is where I sit. So I have an L-shaped, this furniture is from IKEA, an L-shaped station, and I keep my Tim Holtz glass mat here at all times because that's what collects everything. And this is my watercoloring station. So I have my Corinne markers, my watercolor pencils, my Stabilo pencils, my brushes, all my Distress Ink re-inkers, which I love using for my watercolor painting. And then this basket has all my current incomplete projects, as well as my copy paper and previous Brayer sheets. So it's a lot of stuff that keeps getting piled into this basket, but that's what I reach for when I'm doing my gel plate printing. Then I have this moving carousel kind of storage that was donated to me by another crafter, and I have all my bookmark making supplies and tassels up here with some of the smaller stencils, and then my bigger stencils. My entire stencil stash basically is on here, and it has really helped me use stencils and texture plates that I wasn't using because they were stashed away in a drawer. Now that I see them, I'm reaching for them more, I'm using them more. I'm also not just picking out the ones I normally got, which were on the top of my stash in a drawer. I can see them all, I can just flip through them. So this has been really helpful. And then this is like my paint wall. So this is a pegboard which has all my paint. So it has my different brands of acrylics. You can see Liquitex, Brayer, Golden, Craft Smart, all of them. This is my alcohol ink station here. So all my alcohol inks are here, diluted as well as in bottles. My recently acquired pan pastels, which came as a surprise birthday gift. I still don't know who sent them to me, but I'm so grateful for these, and I will be using them more. Then these are my Nuvo drops and my golden fluid acrylics, the ones that I use for most often. My stickles and other glittery stuff that I was not using, so I put them up on the pegboard, so I would start using them. And again, because I'm able to see, these are all organized in rainbow order. I try to keep them in rainbow order. Because I'm able to see my paints and my inks, I reach for them more. And then these are all my acrylics, the gouaches on the left, and then all the acrylics from Brayer and from Liquitex and from Artist's Loft and from Cheap Joe's. I don't really I'm not brand loyal. I basically try to use all of them. And then my sewing station, you can see a lot of these threads are not even opened yet because I don't know how to sew, but I have a sewing machine. So I put it out here so I would incorporate some of that in my journals. And then a cutting mat, and then all of these little tchotchkes, things that I had stashed away in drawers I was not using, but I can now because I see them and they can be used as embellishments. So that's kind of an overall L-shaped kind of my work area, my workspace. This is the stuff that I reach out for most. And so This is kind of where it all happens, where I'm reaching. I'm just rolling around in my chair and picking stuff up. And then this is the back. This is what's behind me. And this is the shelving unit that's always been here. It used to have doors. We just took the doors out of the hinges. And Jim, you just need to go to mansimakes.com to sign up for my newsletter, and I'll make sure the link is on in the chat also. But this is where all of my storage is. So this is where my gel plates are. This is where all my cards are. So these are all the cards that I make, and I put them up here. This is supposed to be a business card holder, but all the cards that I made, these are all my gel plate printed cards, and other painted cards, they're just all over here. So I know when this fills up, I know I need to start sending cards out. And I have my envelopes in the back. So that's kind of where all the cards and envelopes are. This is my shipping station. So there's a scale, some envelopes and shipping labels. This is my Gelli Arts station. All my plates are in this stacking unit here. My 5x7, 8x10, my round. My other ones are on the other side in the other stacker, but I have two of these stackers, and these have been really great to be able to keep all of my gel plates in one area, label them so I know what I am reaching out for. And my minis are in this cute little stainless steel box, and I labeled on top what's inside, so it's easy for me to identify at a glance what's inside. They're not shoved inside a drawer. They are not getting misshapen, because I used to stack things up and sometimes they would get impressions from other things that were kept on top of those gel plates, which you shouldn't do. So they have their own home, which is nice that they have their own space. And I just am able to reach out for whichever gel plate I want by lifting up the stack and just sliding out whichever one I need to use. This is my big stamp and die section. This turntable has a lot of stuff that is miscellaneous. It has my Nuvo pastes and other things. My color pencils and my gold pens are here. Some distress markers and miscellaneous pens are in here. So this is kind of more of a miscellaneous thing. This cutter is a really big one. It doesn't go anywhere else, so that's where I stashed it. So it's what works for me, right? In these boxes, there's a lot of stuff stashed away. Then I put my journals for display. And then those are boxes that need to be painted at some point. And then moving on to this shelf, as you can see, there's not much area to display stuff. This is my paper stashing drawer, so all the colored papers, cardstock, my journals, different kinds, watercolor, handmade paper, acrylics, all of them, mixed media, they're all over here. You can see my Gelli Arts gel plate printed flower pot there too. So I keep my journal open when I'm waiting for paints to dry over here on this shelf, which also has all my Deli Paper and my other printed paper and plain papers. So this is a variety of papers that are on this stackable unit here. They're all different sizes, 12 by 12, 8.5 by 11, some scraps, but mostly full sheets and half sheets. If they're smaller scraps, then they go in a drawer, which I will also come to in a bit. But this is kind of where all the paper is. Again, try to organize and keep it organized in rainbow order so it's easy to find things. If I'm just looking for, yellows, I know where to look. And then these are all my stamps, and some I have designed, others I have bought, others have been gifted to me. So there's a lot of stamps, and I've categorized them. I've not been very good about keeping them back in the categories they belong in. So that's something, I'll do over a weekend when I'll just organize these stamps. And I have my white and black pens all in one container and my colorful pens in the other. My Sizzix Big Shot and my two Sizzix Sidekicks. There are two Sizzix Sidekicks here because one of them is my daughter's and one is mine, and we don't like sharing. Then these are all works in progress. I keep them here in this basket so that I know that I need to get to these. Got my laminator and my glitter foil system up there. My mixed media. Texture pastes are here, and then this is a dish, I think, lid separating rack, which I'm using to keep all my envelope maker, my puncher, my scoreboard, my guillotine cutter, my trimmer, my stamping platform. They're all here, so they're also easy to access. And I share all of this with my daughter, so I have to make sure that all of this stays organized, is easily accessible for her and for me, and that I can see it. And if I don't see it, that's when things don't get used, which is why I took the doors out of these shelves and just wanted to have everything on display. Now this pegboard here started out as our shipping station, so I used to have just stamps here, but then as things started coming out of drawers, this is what happened. So my deco foil is here, but also scraps of my gel plate prints that I cut up. I just put them on binder clips and I hang them up so that when I'm making a card, I can quickly just take some of these punch some shapes out or die cut some shapes or use them whole. And that way, again, I am able to see my scraps, my printed paper scraps, which I don't use, and my gel plate scraps, which I don't use. So they were hanging up. Okay, moving into the drawers. So this is my top drawer of one drawer unit, which has all my distress inks and oxides. These are all my watercolorable inks. So these are water-soluble inks. And then I have one section for the archival inks in there. My acrylic inks, my gouache paints, and some watercolor paper is in this drawer. This one now has all the different kinds of watercolor papers, more inks that are water-soluble, postcards, and my palettes. And then the last drawer here has paper. It's just cardstock, it's heavy mixed media cardstock, light cardstock. These are papers that I cut one day and just folded them, made them into card bases, and some trash bag liners. So that's all my watercolor stuff for the most part in that. That's how I see it. This one has my pastels and also my ruler and pre-cut sentiments. So again, one of those days when I have nothing to do, I will just sit outside on the deck and just cut these sentiment strips out. So I have them ready for card making. This has a lot of scraps, things that I'm using, works in progress, magazine scraps, my threads, white paper. When I trim paper, I don't throw things away, I just store them, which is why I need all of these drawers to just basically store all my paper scraps. These are organized by color. And I just flip through these and get them out. Some of them are gold foil, some of them are from paper sheets that I got from Michael's, and I just trimmed them one day while listening to my daughter read a storybook to me. So, things that you do to just have things on hand when you're creating, because you don't want to, I at least don't, I shouldn't say you, but I don't like the pauses that die cutting introduces into the creative process. So I like to have these things done beforehand when I'm not doing anything creative per se. So these are all my die cuts, gel plate prints that I die cut into the word thanks, feathers, leaves, different shapes organized in sections based on what they are. And then this bottom drawer, this was supposed to be a sock holding thingy from Amazon, but it has my color. So this is from my resin days, and I like to mix these colors. These are very, very pigmented powders into my texture pastes when I'm doing my mixed media journaling. And then I have these scraps of, just buttons and then more paper. These were place card holders I got for a party one time. These were all the surplus ones left over. Some random cloth, tissue paper, things that don't go anywhere else. Tags, these are from laminate cards from Home Depot that my daughter used to pick up. And when we were remodeling, we would look at, what goes where. So those are the two drawers on the side under the sewing machine area. Then this one is a diagonal. This has all my embellishments. So little things that you use for embellishing cards. The last thing, basically. This is I'm just recently learning how to journal, like make my own journals, make my own hand-bound books. So this is all the hand-bound book supply drawer is how I see it. This just has my camera, some cloth, rags, and this is an empty drawer that needs to be filled up. This is all my punchers, different sizes, different shapes. I didn't realize I had these many until we moved and I was organizing. So it's 2 drawers full of punchers. I'm making sure I actually end up using them, especially those ones in the back with the alphabets. So yeah, there's going to be a de-stash happening sometime this summer for our local art club or teachers who need supplies, because I obviously don't need those many punchers. And this has my acrylic blocks. This is the drawer that's closest to me when I'm sitting. So this has all my stuff that I need on hand. So binder clips, my strings, my filers, my glue erasers, things like that. This is all my gel plate stuff. So it's journals that I'm working on, incomplete stuff, complete stuff, things that I need to refer to from time to time. Things that I doodle in. Some of them have empty pages, some of them are complete, but not quite. So these are, again, I call them imagination fodder, creativity fodder. I just take them out whenever I'm kind of stuck. This is my gel plate, one of my gel plate texture drawers. This is going to keep getting filled up. That's why this has so much room right now, but the other 2 are pretty full. Lots of feathers, as you can see, a wooden block that I made that I use for stamping. Then there's all of these buttons and lots of other things happening here. And then there's this entire box that I should probably take out and show you what's inside it, because there's a lot of bubble wrap. So this is basically, this was more organized when we first moved, and as I've been using things, I just, clean and just shove them in. This is a great box because it's clear and I can just put things away in this that I use often, and I just pull this box out and I have all the textures I want to use in my gel plate printing session. So die cut shapes, punches, bubble wrap, lids, rubber bands, egg cartons, feathers, there's one of everything in here. So when I don't want to rummage through a lot of stuff, I just pull this box out, and this has pretty much just about every texture I might need in that gel plate printing session. And then there's this random stuff like, cardboard packaging and whatnot in here. So I need to organize this drawer at some point. This is another one of those boxes where I have more textures and some printed papers that I can gel plate print on, and just miscellaneous. This is all just miscellaneous gel plate printing texture stuff. That's how I see this drawer. So this is kind of my gel plate printing and whatever I need handy right next to me on the right side. On the left, I have all these pens and tools that I rarely use, but I get to when I'm doing my mixed media stuff. These need to lie down flat. That's why they are in this, including these alcohol ink markers. They all need to lie down flat. So this is the drawer for them. The second drawer here has all my glues. Oh my goodness, the amount of adhesive I have. Sharpeners, my gilding flakes, and I have a Lazy Susan in here for all my adhesives for different needs. So I can have easy access to that. And then here are all my Pebeo liners and my wooden stamps, wax paper, and parchment paper. Again, for mixed media technique work and for art journaling. And then I have all my inks that I use most often and embossing powders in here. So the Versamark inks and black ink, white ink, gold ink, no line ink. And then all the rags are in this drawer. So yeah, that's all the drawers. Holds a lot of stuff. This unit holds a lot of stuff. This is my charging station, so my iPad, my laptop, they're both over here getting charged. And then I have my heat gun plugged in as well, sitting in a corner so my daughter doesn't have easy access to that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That is everything that I use on a daily basis. I reach out for pretty much all of it now because I can see it. And then here in this closet, I have, that's my hoarding closet. All the excess stuff, jewelry making stuff that I'm not using right now. My mic is in there. But then all of these supplies that I bought wholesale prices, don't know what to do with them, don't know where to keep them. So my watercolor paper is here. And you'll see a lot of look at all these bottles. I have all of these discs over here for disc binding. These are all my resin pieces I had created that I haven't done anything with. Popsicle sticks, crushed rocks, so many journals, foam brushes, lots of test tubes, votives, coffee filter, extra color pencils, floss, hairbands, what have you. It's all in here. So this is, before I go to Amazon or to any other online store to buy stuff, this is what I need to look at. So that's my daughter sitting over there. She sits right next to me. And that's basically the room. So yeah, how long did that take? 20 minutes approximately. But this is where I am. And let me see if I can now change the source of the video so you can see me instead. Here I am. So thank you so much for your lovely comments. Again, if you want a comprehensive list of the things that I have been using, the supplies, the storage ideas and whatnot, just sign up, go to mansimakes.com and sign up for my newsletter. The link is here on the left-hand side of the screen, and I will be happy to share all my resources with you. If it makes your life easier, I'm happy to do that. So on to our demo for today. Let's see if I can get my camera. Why is it saying? Oh, my Apple ID was used for something. Okay. Okay, so do you put the video tour on YouTube? Henriette, I will get around to it. I haven't done a voiceover yet. I will get to doing the studio tour on YouTube. And again, if you sign up for the newsletter, you'll get the video, I don't send my newsletter out very often, so thank you for asking, Henriette. I actually am not organized enough to send a newsletter out every week or 2 weeks or a month. So my newsletter is sporadic. You might hear from me once or twice a year, maybe 3 times if I'm being super organized, but it usually has announcement if I'm doing any workshops and you can sign up for them. There's an announcement for that. If there's something like the studio room tour that has a plethora of links that people are interested in, you'll have that in there. And if there's any like big update, life update, it'll be in the newsletter. So I'm not going to spam you. I'm not collecting emails for any purpose, which is why I don't do the newsletter. I have a marketing and communications background, and I know how leery people get of newsletters and of giving out their emails. I totally understand that, and that's why I don't do it, because I've seen the ugly side of it too. And I am not into selling you stuff. I just want to share. I just want to share what I know. I'm happy to create with you. I'm happy if even one person out of all of you attending today will pick up your gel plate and pick out your acrylic paints and a brayer and make one card. That's what gives me joy. So just know that at the outset, I will not spam you, and I'm not here to sell you anything. But that said, if you do want to buy something from Gelli Arts, then use the code MONSIB so you can get a discount at Gelli Arts. Okay, so we are going to start with our printing demo. And this is how I stack my gel plate in that stacker unit. So I just have like plain old copy paper, and you can see how my gel plate is not clean. I don't clean my gel plate before storing it. So call me lazy, call me adventurous, call me what you will, but this is how it goes. So I just make sure I don't keep it touching the clamshell. And then I have my brayer. I use a speedball brayer. It's a soft brayer. You can also use a hard brayer if that's your preference. And then we have some deli paper. If you've bought any of the Gelli Arts kits, you'll notice that they send deli paper, which I can quickly grab and show you actually. So this is the deli paper that will come in your kits, which is also fine to use. It's like parchment paper or tissue paper. And these are the kinds of prints I will take on it when I'm experimenting. I love using deli paper for my mixed media and art journals. I love the details that deli paper picks up that cardstock and copy paper don't pick up, which is why I decided to use deli paper for today's card demos. And I think Madison shared some cards that I had made as part of my practice session with the deli paper. So this is what it would look like when it's glued on. It's really nice because, you know, it's picked up all the layers of the print, and you can just embellish it with a gold pen, leave it be, just put on a sentiment. And this is what we're doing today. And also what I also wanted to do was my brayer sheets don't go waste. So this is what we're going to be brayering off the excess paint on. And then I'm going to be using these punchers to punch out shapes. I usually just keep them in this little box here, this handy box over here. So when I want to make a quick card, I can just use these. And this is the kind of card that you can make by just using scraps of your brayer sheets and just put on a sentiment over here and you're done. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm not going to, again, choose colors or, you know, look at my color wheel. I'm just going to pick whatever colors are accessible easily. And I see the comments about not using copy paper to store your gel plate. That's a fallacy. Please use copy paper to stack your gel plate, because it really keeps the gel plates nice and safe and secure and doesn't let any imprints fall on them. And also you don't get, there's no residue. It's actually a good way to store your gel plates. And I have tissue paper, but where do you buy deli paper? I will, it's on Amazon. If you just look for deli paper, it's on Amazon. Just going to use a variety of different kinds of paints. I'm not using my perfect placement tool today. I always use that for my gel plate printing, but I decided not to use it today, which, by the way, if you haven't entered the Gelli Arts giveaway on Instagram, where we're celebrating 50,000 followers, the placement tool is one of the things that you can win. It's really cool. And you can also win some gel plates. So if you haven't entered that, I believe, Madison, it's still on, the giveaway. Kate, I'm going to show you how to use the card, how to make the Brayer sheets to make that card. So now you have more incentive to roll off excess paint on a Brayer sheet, because you know you won't be letting that go to waste, and you won't have excess color on your gel plate also. So we have that. That's kind of going to be the base color. And here's my Deli paper. I also sometimes will use this in my gift bags. So it's nice to kind of have your own unique printed paper in gift bags. Yay, Madison says the giveaway is happening now on Instagram.com/jellyart, so make sure you go there. A kitchen wholesale store. Oh, that's nice. That will sell Deli paper. I just buy it from Amazon, and I can share a link later when I go through the comments, and I'm not using my hands to do printing. But as you can see, the reason I don't clean my gel plate is that I would not get this grunge and this little hint of blue over here if I had cleaned my gel plate. So, more reason to not clean your gel plate. One less thing for you guys to do. Okay, I have Color Shift from Folk Art. I love Color Shift paints. What brand paint is good to use? I like to use a variety of them, as you saw in the video tour. I'm not brand loyal. I don't know if that's a bad thing, but I'm color loyal. I like to have different colors in my stash, so whichever pigmentation I like, whichever color I like, I will buy that. And I mostly use Liquitex. I also use a lot of golden fluid acrylics, and I use Brayer acrylic, which are the more dense, they're not as fluid acrylics. So we're just going to use one stencil over there, just kind of figuring out how to place this. I don't necessarily want the same pattern all over, because remember, we're going to cut this, we're going to trim this one sheet of Deli paper to make multiple cards. So you can play around and you can have all different kinds of things going on one sheet of Deli paper. Do I clean my stencils? No, Jim, I don't clean anything. The only thing I clean after any kind of play on my gel plate are my hands. That's the only thing I clean. I don't even clean my Brayer, I just peel the paint off. Not a big believer in cleaning, and I actually have a magnet up behind me that says that a clean house is a sign of a wasted life. So very, very big proponent of that, actually. I'm going to have a look at your questions. I see a lot of them popping up, but I don't want to lose my focus on the printing aspect, because I do want to also explain what I'm doing over here. So we'll just go with a yellow and we'll use different stencils. And the beauty of not cleaning is that you can be pleasantly surprised. It's all part of the letting go. You know, the more you are willing to be surprised, the easier it becomes to have fun when you're doing your art. I'm going to use my Brayer sheet here. See how beautiful that's already looking with all the different colors? The Brayer sheet itself is a work of art, and it has that print in the background. This is a contract, I think, from our landscape contractor. I had to just sign one page, but I printed out the whole thing, so it gets used. Okay, we're going to use, these are all Gelli Arts stencils that I'm using, by the way. And there are so many of them, and they are so beautiful. They can be so versatile for masculine cards and feminine cards and everyday cards, specific themed cards. Lots of opportunity. Oh my goodness, love that orange that just happened on the red with the overlap. Oh, that is just too cool for words. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Okay, and then we have all of this that we can pick up our ghost print over here. And then again, I'm just pressing down. You don't have to press down very hard. It's Deli paper, it's very delicate. It is picking up just about everything that is on the gel plate. So you get the most detailed texture pulls when you use Deli Paper on your gel plate. Okay, so let's use another color. Maybe we can use like a dark blue for contrast. How about we use a different medium? So instead of acrylics, what is this? This is ceramic paint, porcelain. So at one point I was painting pots, which is why I have this, but it also works on the gel plate. It has a nice glaze effect, and I love that. You'll see in a bit. Also, it makes for a good brayer sheet. So it'll make some greens over here when it mixes in with the yellows. And you can see how transparent it is. And that's another thing that you can play with, is the transparency of your colors. So you're not just using opaque colors, you can layer transparent and opaque colors together. And let's use another stencil. So this is one that I designed for a company called Maker Forte. It's the Dips and Dots stencil, and then I also designed this one, which is called the Swirls Stencil, and I love using both of these. So we'll use these two over here, and then I just want to make an imprint with my X's. So instead of leaving them on, I'm just going to roll the brayer on, and that leaves an imprint over there. Get my Deli Paper out again, and this time I'm going to go this way because this part has no color. So you're just filling it up, essentially. What doesn't work on a gel plate, I haven't tried oil pastels. I don't know if they actually work on a gel plate. I'm fairly new to them, but other than the oil pastels, I've tried just about everything else. I've used fabric medium, fabric paint, distress inks, distress oxides, watercolors, re-inkers. I don't know any other medium that's out there. I've probably tried it, and it has probably worked. And you know, when you say worked or not worked, the only criteria I'm applying is whether it destroys your gel plate or not. Because work and not work are very subjective. When you pull a print with a specific medium that you are not familiar with, don't go in with any expectations of what that medium should do for you. And if you don't go in with any expectations from a certain medium, then it always works, right? What's my Instagram account? It's Mansi Makes, M-A-N-S-I Makes, Mansi Makes. That's my handle for all different social media. It's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Mansi Makes everywhere. So I think the paint dried up over here on the gel plate, so it didn't pull up that imprint, but I like how it became circles. Like over here, this is full ovals or full circles, and then over here, it's just the outline. Isn't that cool? I like that. Okay, let's use a magenta. See what that does for us. And again, as you can see, this in its entirety might not look like anything to you right now. It just, you know, it's busy. There's no focus, there's no structure. It's just a sheet of grunge and color and pattern. But when we cut this up to make cards, it takes a life of its own. Another thing I want you to note as you're printing on Deli Paper is that it starts becoming thicker. The more layers of paint it gets on it, the thicker it becomes, the sturdier it becomes. It doesn't feel as flimsy. Like this part feels very flimsy right now. It has no paint on it. This part is more solid. It's more like copy paper. It has weight to it because of the paint. So that's another thing to note. Pan pastels, yes, they do work. Newsprint, so what's happened with Newsprint, Laura, when I have tried it, is that if I use my the baby oil, the newsprint came off. I thought it was permanent too for the longest time. I think I had it on for a couple of months before somebody said in another live that they had used baby oil and it came off. And I tried that and it did. It actually came off. So the one thing that hasn't come off for me is I have a gel plate that still has a face on it that I drew the outline off using a Sharpie. That's the only thing that hasn't come off, but it doesn't come off even on my prints after the fact. So I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. It's nice to see that lady's face greeting me when I do my gel plate printing with that 5x7 plate. I love this stencil. This is from Gelli Arts. It's so awesome. I just love it. So I think let's get some magenta in this section here next to our red. And it should pick up the ghost print from earlier. One thing again is don't press too hard, don't be too rough. whenever I use copy paper, I say massage the gel plate as if you were applying pressure on your thigh, like giving your thigh a massage. But with deli paper, don't be too rough because then you'll end up tearing it, especially with wet paint. Don't be too gentle either. Like, don't be afraid. And if you tear a piece of tissue paper once in a while, it's fine. That's how you'll learn how much pressure you need to apply. Oh my goodness, guys, this is just turning out to be amazing. Wow. I'll just flip it over in 1 second so you can see the details. It's glorious. And you see how the deli paper wrinkled up over here and it's got its own pattern? That is just so cool. Oh, the little things that give me joy. Okay, and then this left a beautiful imprint over here, so let's try to capture it along with a spiral on this side. And your color choices needn't be harmonious either when you're doing something like this, which you know that you're going to cut up. Another use for printing on deli paper is when I have collaged on wood. It's really easy to paste deli paper on wood. Okay, how's it looking so far? I think we need something going on over here. So maybe we could use a mask. So let me open my drawer and see if we can use some masks. Maybe a feather, maybe a leaf. So these are all hand cut. These two are hand cut. And then feathers I just collect on our walks on the beach. Not particular about what kinds of feathers. The biggest ones I've collected have been pelican feathers. This is a virgin feather because it has no paint on it, so let's try this out today. Maybe one of the cards is going to have an imprint of a feather on it. We shall see. I want some more yellow here. This feels too dull to me, but I'm going to get some color over here. And you just have to go through this process in order to see how the card is going to happen. It's 12:37, so I'm not going to spend too much time working on this one sheet of paper because I do want to show you how we're going to end up using this and that for our card or cards. We'll actually get multiple cards out of this exercise today, which is always nice when you're able to make more than one and you just have like a 20-minute gel plate printing session and you get 3 or 4 cards out of it. That's a win for sure. Okay, excess yellow can go over here and over here. And as you can see, I am being deliberate because I know what I'm going to be using this gel plate, this Brayer sheet for. I'm being deliberate in where I am placing the colors. But even if you were to do random color placement, it'll still work because, you know, you're going to cut parts out. Okay, let's use that mask over there. Let's use this mask over here. Let's place this mask over here. Maybe we can do a little spiral over here. And let's go for it and see what happens. Okay. I found them on the beach. That's right, Xylia, thank you. And Henriette, you can buy a feather printing kit from Gelli Arts. They do sell that. That was my first introduction to feather printing using a gel plate, and it's absolutely fantastic. And if you haven't seen, Gelli Arts is doing a top 10 for celebrating their 10-year anniversary. And one of the topmost posts from the last 10 years has been printing on feathers that Berhit Kopsen had done, which Gelli Arts shared on their Facebook page and Instagram channel most recently. So have a look at that because they're a lot of fun. I'm loving where this is going. So here's the thing, guys. You're not going to be able to see all the details of the masks that we're using, but I'll point some out to you. Like I put the spiral over here right now, and you can see how it has changed the color. The yellow is here from this print, but then because there was pink and there was orange under, it just lightened that up. So there's just a lot going on over here that is so much fun. I'm going to take off these masks, and then I'm going to do one last color wash over here, and we're going to call it done, and then we can proceed to our, let's do a color shift, part color shift and part blue. So I'm going to use, oops, got a lot more than I wanted. Yahoo for a Brayer sheet that I can put that beautiful color on. And make it work. Isn't it fun to create a Brayer sheet that you know you're also going to use for a card? And then I'm going to use this. Yes, making masks using a glue gun is an awesome idea. I have done that in my early days. I don't think this blue wants to be part of this live demo today. So let's see which one. Phthalo blue green shade does not want to be part of this today. So instead, let's see if our purple wants to be part of the demo. And it might sound weird, but if a paint is not coming out, I don't force it. I just figure, okay, it's not wanting to be part of this particular print. That's not the energy it wants to lend today to me, so I'm not going to force it. Instead, I'll use another color that wants to play with me today. Might sound weird. I am weird like that. I'm very, very receptive to change and being flexible and having fun instead of thinking or overthinking. And that I feel is the hardest part for a lot of people, is not to be able to let go, to go in with a plan. I appreciate everyone who's able to go in with a plan and work according to that plan. I am not one of those people. I am like that in real life for all my things, not in art. I'm not a planner when it comes to art. I didn't use my white. Did you guys realize that? Usually I use a lot of white in my masking. Now this yellow is going to go over here because this is the only area of my paper that I haven't still got color on. And I'm just going to put the ladder stencil here and get that imprint over there, put the excess off on my Brayer sheet, lift that off, and make sure I press this paper down over here. And then we are going to use the trimmer to figure out what parts of each section. Ooh, that looks so cool. And because I've used color shift, the colors are changing as I am turning this in the light. Okay, so that's a relatively clean gel plate, except for this part here, but that's a relatively clean gel plate. And this is what we've made. I mean, it has so much grunge, so much texture. It has the color shift happening over here. It has patterns. There's a lot going on. And then what do we do with this? It looks like nothing and everything. How do we make cards? So let me just put this aside, and I'll get my card bases and my trimmer. So I do want to show you guys something that Luann surprised me with. We were on the Gelli Arts Gelli Telly last week, and she has been going to Michael's and buying these, and then she shipped some of them to me, which was very generous. These are cardstock paper, and then these are pre-scored cards and envelopes. So you can just go to Michael's and get these, and you don't have to spend your time cutting, trimming paper to size, and scoring your paper, because that does take a while. I will dedicate a couple of my afternoons every month, because I make a lot of cards, to just score, cut and score my paper. So I have my card bases ready, but you can just go to Michael's and get them pre-scored, pre-cut, pre-scored with matching envelopes, because I also like to make matching envelopes for my cards. I'm just going to set aside my stencils here, putting everything on my L-shaped area. Now that you know what my workspace looks like, I have that other wing of my workspace where my sewing machine is, which is where I'm stashing everything. I'm going to get my trimmer. So this is my Fiskars Trimmer, and I prefer this over my guillotine trimmer because it just doesn't rip off the deli paper. So what I'm going to do first is so these are 4.25 by 5.5, and we're just going to do the trim on these to a 4 by 5.25. And I'm going to try to see if I can be a bit more random in my choices, because that's where the fun lies. I do want to trim this off. I'm going to trim this side off first. Oh, today is the day you decide to do that. It usually doesn't fray. Today it did. Or maybe it'll be a decal edge kind of card. Okay, so let's see. Let's do this side here. And I'll also talk about the adhesives I use when I'm card making. So let's do a 5.25. The paint might be a bit too wet. Last time I had waited for it to dry completely before I trimmed. I was also very careful last time. And I was not doing a live, which are all factors that contribute towards success. The live being the one that makes the most difference. Okay, yes, it's typical, Gina. It really is. Okay, so 5.25. And then let's do a 4 over here. Gonna make this, I'm gonna trim this because this doesn't, unless I end up doing a decal edge, which, yep, this is not happy. You see what it's doing to the print? This is not happy. This just wants to be torn. So we're gonna tear it. We're gonna have a decal edge. We're gonna have a hand-torn edge, which will give it a nice rustic look on one side. And then we'll put our sentiment there. Okay, so go with the flow. Don't stress out, don't freak out. It's all good. And let's see if we can make this work. It's gonna make this a 4, so turn it around. Copy paper underneath, you think? You should use that. It'll make it thicker. I didn't use it last time and it worked. Okay, so that's one card right there. And you see this area over here that is all just mushy. We can doodle on it, so don't worry about it not being perfect. Every print is going to be different. Every print is going to be unique. If it bothers you a lot, you can replace this on the gel plate with a mask, and that'll work too. Now let's see if we can do another 4 over here. Lock it. Get that in. Ooh, this will be a nice card. And then we've got this one, which is a very different color scheme. It doesn't even look like we got all 3 of them made. I mean, the first 2, yes, but this one looks like it was from a different session altogether. And just trim the bits over here. It doesn't want to be trimmed. Decal edge it is. So again, improvise and don't be scared. Whoever's going to get these cards is going to be grateful that you're sending them, that you took the time to make them, that these are unique, that even you cannot reproduce these cards if you tried. So I think that we freak out and we stress about things that really, in the long run, don't even matter. And for the person receiving them, I mean, they're a work of art, right? They're beautiful, just the way they are. Perfection is completely overrated, in my opinion. So as we're cutting them, you can see that, you know, each one of these pieces is going to tell its own beautiful story, which is not that apparent when you look at them in their entirety. It just isn't there. That story is not there. I'm going to do these again, 4, and I am doing this intentionally a little bit longer because I want to use some scraps for my envelopes also. And then do another 4 here. Do we want to do a 4 this way or do we want to do a 4 this way? I like it this way because it has more color and more variation of print and color. See, it's cutting much more easily, so I figured out what was happening. The paint was too wet. So, oh, people didn't know how to use. You just, yeah, it's for locking if you have very wiggly paper, the locking mechanism in the trimmer. I usually don't use it, but then sometimes when I'm being very particular, I do. I just press down hard. It works the same as locking. Oh, I love how the color shift is showing through in this one. And do some doodles over here. This will be so pretty. You just have to see beyond the paper. I think when you do a print like this, a printing session like this, you just have to see beyond what you see on the paper in its entirety. You have to envision what you can make out of it, how you can transform it into something else. So again, doing a 5.25 here. This will be my last trim, and this will be a decal edge. So one more thing for doodling, I hear a lot of people sometimes they get really frozen and they say, well, I don't know how to doodle. I'm not a very good doodler. I am scared I'll ruin my print. So you can take a stencil and you can just use the stencil as your guide and just use, use your pen inside the cavities of the stencil. And you can, that's one way of doodling. You can take a printout and you can copy what you see. That can be another way of doodling. A third way of doodling is what I do. Pick up a pen, see what it does, how it moves on paper. So that's going to be one card, and you can see how pretty that will look just by itself, right? And yes, it does look different just by cutting it up because you're only focusing now on these small bits. So it's 12:51, and I promised that I would show how to punch out the Brayer sheet. So what I'm going to do is, instead of adhering these on, all of them, I will just do this one. And then I promise when I adhere these other ones on, I will take photos and send those over. That can be posted, not pasted, on Instagram and Facebook. So here are a couple of adhesives, and I'll tell you what you shouldn't and what you should use with Deli Paper. In my experience, this is the runner tape, the permanent adhesive, is the worst thing. It tears the Deli Paper frequently. It has a mind of its own in terms of when it wants to come out and when it doesn't. It's not very constant, for me at least, on Deli Paper. I use it for regular cardstock placements when I'm doing the overlay, but not, this is not waxed. It's all plain, like tissue paper alley, the Deli Paper. So I would advise not using this particular kind of tape when you're adhering Deli Paper, either in your journals or on a card. Liquid glue, yes, you can always use that, but what happens is that when you use liquid glue and you're pressing it down, sometimes your Deli Paper becomes too wet and it'll tear. And then you'll cry because it'll hurt. It's happened to me before. I have cried over Deli Paper getting torn. Because, after all of this, and it's looking amazing when I cut it up and all of that, and I have these visions of how I'm going to doodle on it, and then suddenly it tears. It's not fun. So I prefer to use, and this is on its last legs here, the Uhu glue stick. You don't have to use this particular brand, just, any Elmer's will do too. Now this is on its last leg, so my hands are going to get glue on them, obviously. I should have just grabbed, I'm just going to grab a new bottle from my closet where I have surplus glue sticks. So one of the benefits of staying organized is knowing exactly where everything is, which drawer to reach out for. The problem is staying organized. So every week, at least once a week, I have to reorganize everything for my own sanity. Yesterday, if you're following me on Instagram, my handle again is instagram.com/MonsiMakes. Yesterday I had shared the craftermath that happened. I was working for a full straight 6 hours, and I could not see my table at all. And so this morning I had to spend 2 hours putting things away. It was easy because I know where to put everything away, but still, that's what happens. It has to be something constant. And again, I'm not using my mat, my glass mat, as I should. So I'm just going to line this up against my grids on my glass mat so that I'm spacing this equally. This is not my forte. I usually do not use a ruler, or I'm kind of fly by the pants kind of girl. So what if it's off-centered or crooked? It's still pretty, right? Still looks nice. Okay, there we go. If you get any wrinkles, it's fine. I don't really care that much about wrinkles. Okay, so here. And this is the kind of glue that also doesn't unglue. Like with this one, after a couple of times, things unglue. After a couple of months, I should say, because I have some cards that have been sitting with me for months that haven't been mailed out, and I can see that the bases are coming undone. So just be aware of what glue you're using with which paper for it to actually work for you and not cause you stress, because that's the last thing you need, is for glue to cause you stress. Okay, so that's that, and then we can take a pre-printed sentiment. So what I do again is just, this is how these sheets come. They come like this. They're pre-printed sentiments, and then one day I will just sit down with my trimmer and I will trim out the sentiments. And then I label them, so if I'm looking for something to send to a mom, I have my mom Ziploc here, I have my gratitude Ziploc here, I have my Thanksgiving Ziploc here. So this is kind of what I do when I'm just sitting with my daughter and, you know, we're just talking, school stuff is here, I'll just trim sentiment strips out. So for this one, you can do a simple Happy Father's Day to the best dad right there. Or you can do You Deserve Nothing But Happiness in the middle, because that's longer. So it's up to you what sentiment you choose and how you place it. And then for the doodling bit, which I'll do very quickly, black or white, I think we'll do white on this. So I'm going to grab my white pens. And you can see I have a lot of black and white pens. Most of them don't work when I want them to work. So hopefully this one will. And let's choose a sentiment first so we know where we're going to place it before we start doodling. So say we were making this a Happy Father's Day to the best dad. So I want to doodle on definitely over here, right? And because this has circles, I'm just going to use the circles as my guide. And hopefully it will work. And it's not going to be anything fancy. It's just enhancing some of those circles. And just kind of making marks, overlapping, right? And it just adds that additional interest to your card. And it doesn't, and the funny thing is that, you know, that's the spot that you would want people not to look at. But as soon as you start adding another element over your gel plate in relation with your words, it just makes sense. And then if you want, you can add, where would you get the sentiment sheets? These pre-printed ones are from Simon Says Stamp. But you can also just print your sentiments out. Go to Word, Microsoft Word, open Microsoft Word or Page if you have a MacBook, and just write down your sentiments in whatever font you want and print out a sheet of sentiments. You don't have to go purchase stuff necessarily. Gold pen, circles inside circles. And then I'll just add some dots. Doesn't have to be complicated, you guys. And I want these to be flowers now that I'm looking at it. I'm gonna make some leaves. These are all gonna be flowers that are blooming for Dad, for Father's Day, the bouquet that will always stay fresh. I've got a flower field going on here. See, and that was not my intent at all when I started doing this. So you're witness to how organic my approach is to this. Okay, so got that. And you can keep embellishing. You can add some sequins over here. Sequins you would add with liquid glue so they stay on. And then you would put this on. Cool. We've got our first card done. It's very simple. It's very easy. Again, you can make these flowers as complex as you would like. They don't have to be this simple, but I'm just kind of showing you, even if you were to make this as simple as this, it still works. It's 12:59. I am going to show you how to punch out your Brayer sheet now, so you can also see how that card is going to come into play. And for this, what I will usually do is just tear out. And also you can use this. You don't have to punch this entire thing out. You can just use this in a trimmer. And you know, this can be a nice card base, and you can just doodle on it and put a sentiment on. So here we can take now the punching out bit in this. What I like to do is grab colors that look really different, and that way we're able to get a nice variety of colors. And if you look carefully, what you'll see is that each one of these is a mini painting, depending on where you're punching out from. So it's really as simple as that. You see how we have these colors going? And when you arrange them in a grid, it'll be really, really cool. So again, I'm just going to tear this out. I don't throw away these strips either, just so you know. I will use them on an envelope. So that's why I need to have this much storage, because of my hoarding tendencies, especially as far as paper goes. But then I'm not just hoarding it, I'm actually using it. That's what I tell myself. So I have to keep myself accountable and actually use all of this stuff. I'm just kind of going through, and sometimes I will save this and I will cut this out and use that in my journal too, so nothing goes to waste. I try not to waste anything as far as my art supplies go. And you really can get creative. You don't have to keep buying things. Use what you have. That's my mantra. So how many do we have? Let's see if these are enough. Now, first decide on your orientation. We did a landscape oriented card here. So let's do a portrait over here. And let's just see. We're going to vary the colors up. We don't have to stick to a similar color scheme here. And I know some people might have to leave, and that's okay if you need to go, because I am past my allotted amount of time. But you can always catch the replay. And I'm not going to be gluing these down. I'm just kind of showing you how easy it is to create cards. Now see, we have these strips from the Deli Paper prints earlier. Oh no, this one's getting squished. Okay. So we'll just also use this, because why not? That was just an extra piece of... Oh, but you know what? Deli Paper is not going to work with this. And you'll see why. You see? So another thing I have discovered, and it will save you a lot of frustration. This is why I don't use my Deli Paper, I remembered, with my puncher, because it will not punch the whole thing through. And then you'll be struggling. And doing it multiple times doesn't work either. So this was, again, something I keep forgetting. So don't use Deli Paper to punch. Use copy paper. I'm going to tear this side now, because there are some nice colors going on over here that we haven't captured yet. And I think I just need 4 more, because over here I'm going to use a different shape. And that's kind of also how you mix and match things on this. Besides doing your color mixing and your paper mixing, it is too thin, that's right. You can also mix your shapes up. I'm trying to see what colors we don't have. I think we need a bit more of the yellows. And I think I'll get some of the warmer colors down here in a bit. So 1, 2, 3. And let's get a pink and purple going on this side. So we've got too many greens lined up over here. So we're just going to take this one up here, bring this one down here. Just play around with this. Play around with your composition. It also doesn't have to be a grid. It can be, you can draw the heart, shape of a heart. Have that as your outline, and then do that. And then I'm just going to get another puncher shape. So maybe we can do, say, a circle. And let's see what color circle. Let's do a pink and orange circle over here. So we've got a circle that we put over there. Use your adhesive. Again, I would use my adhesive here. Put the Deli Paper with the copy paper and then punch, Kitty. You know what, I'm going to try it, because we're on a live right now. So let's see if that works for me. This is copy paper. This is Deli Paper. And you're telling me this is going to work. And I'm going to try it, and if it does, I will forever be grateful to you, because I have not successfully been able to punch my Deli Paper at all. So let's give this a whirl and see if it works. Ack. Okay, maybe I need a bigger sheet of copy paper. Well, let's see. It's positioned now. Deli Paper, copy paper. Hooray! Thank you! Wow, life-changing. It's the little things I tell you. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we know. You can punch out your Deli Paper, your tissue paper, if you put copy paper under it. Who knew? So I am definitely going to use this bit over here, because this was life-changing. So awesome. This is why I love this, the community. Thank you so much. That was very cool. Okay, so here I'll show you what I did in the other card so you can kind of see. All I did was same thing as we did here, right? Same exact thing. And I just made two. I made two over here because, distance makes the heart grow fonder, kind of. That's what I was going for. Missing someone, you can always have a missing you sentiment over here. And I took a gold pen and I just made random marks. So lines, dots, everybody can do that. So don't tell me that you can't doodle. You can make lines, I know that. I know that you can make squiggles. I know that you can make circles. I know that you can add dots. I know that you can do this. So do this. It's easy. I'm trying to make it easy for you. It doesn't have to be complicated. So we'll do the same thing with this, and once I finish this off, I will post this. It's already 6 minutes past 1. But this is, you can make a heart over there, or you can make something cute. You don't even have to do a lot of doodling because this one has the added element of text. So it's really cool. You can turn the text around upside down. You can do it sideways. You can do it right side up, however you want. So just play around with it and see what you can do. But it's really simple to make cards using deli paper. One sheet of deli paper we used, and we'll end up with how many cards? Let's see. Including the Brayer sheet, this is going to yield at least 4 more cards, or 5. This, we already know we made 1. This will be 2, and this will be trimmed, so we'll have a matching envelope. This will be 3. This will be 4. This will be 5. This will be 6. So all in all, you'll end up with like a dozen cards. You know how awesome that is when you have like a dozen cards from a 20-minute gel plate printing session? It's phenomenal, I think. So I know it looks like nothing when you are first starting out, and it'll feel like, what am I going to do with this mud? But when you cut it out, that's what it changes your perspective. When you cut things up, they start looking so different. They tell their own story, and that's kind of where I wanted to open your eyes to nothing is waste. That's why I have that stack of Brayer sheets in that basket. I'll never throw those away because I use them. I punch them out, I cut them up, I use them as collage pieces. But just use what you have and just be creative. I mean, it's free. Creativity is free. All you have to do is think a little differently and question. Curiosity is what drives me the whole time. It's like, what if I do this? But then why do I stop myself after that what if? Why don't I follow through with the what if and try it? All in all, what's going to happen? It's a Brayer sheet. We're going to toss it anyway. You'll discover something new. You'll make something new out of it. So that's my spiel for not throwing away things, for using your imagination and your creativity and your gel plate and just having fun, just letting go. So I hope this was helpful. It was enjoyable. I hope you like the studio tour. If you want the list of supplies or storage, just sign up for my newsletter. I'll try my best to get that out next week, by next week. I won't promise this week. By next week, I'll try to send that out, and I will finish up these cards and I will post them on Instagram and Facebook so you can have a look at what we made. Thank you so much for joining me. I really, really, really appreciate all of you and the time that you spent here today. I will see you all next time.